All right.
Okay.
Do you want to preview it? Here's an
Yeah, no,
alternate version
okay.
of the
Yeah,
rankings.
real quick. You
Mhm.
sent me these records. Okay. I told you that I went 2-4-1. Okay. Right. Yeah. Last week. All right. And you know what? No, I'm gonna go back to the presentation from last week as we're even recording because I need to make a point. Last week I was 29-37, right?
Okay.
2-4-1.
So that would be 31, 41, and 1.
Okay.
31, 39, and 1. I give my diploma. I have a degree in applied computational mathematics, Tyler.
Well, something went kablooey, I guess, Kev. I don't know, but
I'm
okay.
trying to
It's
help
not the
you, man.
first time it's happened. That's the only reason I wanted to bring it up. All right, you go talk about the slate, or do you want to just get into it and not even do the intro?
Yeah, I think we get into it because we got a good game here to preview, picking Memphis again. So 5 miles west of Beale Street in the National Civil Rights Museum, 10 miles north of Graceland, and close enough to smell the Mississippi River, Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium sits as an underrated and underappreciated college football venue. The Memphis Tigers are riding an 11-game home win streak, and in his sixth season at the helm, Ryan Silverfield is 31-6 at home. Under the lights this Friday night, Tulane and the ramblin', scramblin' Jake Retzlaff look to wipe away Memphis's dream of their first college football playoff appearance. When you look at the stats and the momentum of both teams, all signs certainly seem to point to Memphis, but I'll pass the mic over to Tyler for a closer look.
I had myself on mute because I was doing the chats.
Mm.
Yeah, no, okay. Let me pull up my notes. I wasn't prepared. Sorry,
All
my
right,
bad. All right, here we go.
I can
No, look.
go for it.
So I think we can both agree Tulane's probably out of the CFP contention after that UTSA throttling, which was happening whilst we were recording last week. We had our live, you know, reactions to it. It was amazing. That being said, John Summerall probably gone after this year, Kev. Wouldn't you think?
He'll have the opportunity to.
He will be. He's definitely on the chopping block. Not the chopping block. He's on the block of the carousel for at least the open SEC jobs, and there are a lot of good ones. Okay.
Especially
So,
being in Memphis, like in the proximity for recruiting purposes, he's
yep. Exactly. Now, what I want to say is if the American Conference team or the American Conference got to a point where Tulane is still like in that contention to be the top of the American, then we're not going to see an American team in the college football playoffs. You know what I
That's true.
mean?
I mean, you might
So,
get JMU, San Diego State. One of them would get in first. Yeah, I believe.
yeah, so let's do a quick health check here. If it was to be a Conference USA team, Kennesaw State, who's 6-2 overall, 4-0 in their conference. Mountain West, like you said, San Diego State, who's 7-1, 4-0. Man, that's a shame about UNLV, and they were looking good, then they just dropped off.
Same with
Sun Belt
Navy last week. Yeah.
and Navy, yeah, man, Navy too. That was a good one. Sun Belt, we know about JMU. Is there a world? Wait, I just thought about this. What about a world where it's JMU versus a Kirk Signetti coached?
Wow. That would be something. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, long ways away, but hey, if it does happen, that's going
that'd
to
be
be
cool.
exciting to
I
watch,
might
and
be rooting for that
I'll be
narrative.
proud.
I might be rooting for JMU for the rest of the season.
But what kind of a whooping would Kirk Signetti try to unleash on his old team? He's a psycho,
Yes,
so he wouldn't
yeah.
have. Anyway, though, we should talk specifically this matchup because I think
I was gonna get there. I
the
was gonna
biggest
get there.
question here is going to be Memphis's quarterback. Is Brendan Lewis going to be healthy?
Oh yeah.
This game's Friday night, mind you, so it's going to be
Mhm.
in 2 days. The most recent update I saw, um, so quarterback returned 7 days later to start and spearhead a signature win over a ranked South Florida team, erasing a 14-point fourth quarter deficit thanks to 307 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Less than 2 full weeks after limping in Birmingham, Lewis's mobility returned to full form. This was last week. He led Memphis to 87 rushing yards against Rice, but then he did go down. I believe he's still day to day. The offense doesn't run through him like I would say as much as in other teams, but He does lead their team in rushing, and the reason why I say it doesn't run through him as much, just because Memphis does have two stellar backs in Sutton Smith and Greg. I've tried to pronounce this all week, but I'm just going to say Greg D. They have together, they have almost 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, and then they have another 200 receiving yards. So Memphis they have options if they are without their quarterback.
Yeah.
Their backup does have experience because of the injuries from Brendan. I think then it comes down to seeing if their defense can get things done.
Yeah.
Which I had something about that. Tyler, you go while I try to collect my notes here
Yeah,
on
no, go ahead and
Mississippi.
collect yourself. Tulane did win the last two meetings in this series by 10 points. That's worth noting, but I mean, that was different seasons from now. This season, Memphis is just looking good against the spread and both straight up when they go on the road, man. They are 4-0 straight up on the road this year. And then when it comes to them being favorites, they're 6-1-0 against the spread. I mean, these guys cover, they take care of business when they are the favorite team and when they're on the road.
Wait, did they lose to UAB on the road?
Memphis Tigers are 4-0 straight up on the road this year in the past 4 games.
Okay.
No, that's something. They're 3-1 at least. Where? Okay, yeah.
I do feel like sometimes the stats you get online, like not from Google AI, from like actual sources, they're sometimes off. But
They are. Dude, I
anyhow,
saw a Yahoo Sports article that didn't realize in the Texas Tech and the Utah game that there's a. Oh wait, no. Which game is it?
BYU.
Yes, thank you. Okay. I think we also got to talk about here with Tulane, UTSA's loss and the progression of Jake Retzlaff through the year. I think that teams are starting to adapt and shoring up their defenses to account for him scrambling to get those short yards to gain at the line of scrimmage. He was held back to a sub 100 rushing yards, which I know that's not, a lot, or that's not a little when you talk about college rushing, but when you look at Jake Retzlaff rushing this year, yes, it is. So I don't know. I think that the way Memphis has been coached this year, they're going to really find a way to kind of do it. That being said, Kev, did you find your notes before I get to our picks?
Yes, and it's actually a perfect way to lead off because last week or 2 weeks ago against USF's quarterback Byron Brown, mobile, he had 121 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on 21 carries. So they still got the win, but they did get burned by a mobile quarterback. Yeah, I also think so. Memphis gives up 231.8 passing yards per game. That's 78th in the country. Tulane will have opportunities to lick their wounds from last week, and since that game was on Thursday, they'll have a full 8 days to prep. Why don't you roll the picks here? And we both went over. Now the reason I'm going over, both of these teams on defense are not great at stopping third down. Just to put this in perspective, Memphis gives up over 40% third down conversions to their opponent, and Tulane 43%. So that's 78th and 106th in the country, respectively. I think this will be an interesting game, but I do feel Memphis pulling away in the late third, early fourth. Yeah. Anything to add?
I was muted. My bad.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm taking the over just because American Conference chaos, and I love it. And I like Memphis. Okay, BYU.
Hey, Tyler. Do you know who was the very first presidential candidate to be assassinated in the United States?
Candidate or president?
Presidential candidate.
Benjamin Franklin.
On June 27th, 1844, a mob ascended upon the jail in Carthage, Illinois, where 38-year-old Joseph Smith and his brother Hiram were being held on allegations of treason. Both were killed in the attack, which caused a secession crisis in the church that resulted in Brigham Young consolidating followers and establishing the modern LDS Church. Fun little history tidbit for all you cool cats and kittens out there. Now, a mere 181 years After the aforementioned assassination, College Game Day will be making its second ever trip to Lubbock for the Texas Tech Red Raiders' first top 10 matchup since 2008, when they faced number 1 Texas, number 8 Oklahoma State, and number 5 Oklahoma in 3 consecutive games. They went 2-1 over that stretch. That 2008 game against Texas, if you'll recall, featured Michael Crabtree's heroic tightrope touchdown to give Texas Tech a 39-33 victory in front of that College Game Day crew. According to my research, this is actually BYU's first ever top 10 matchup. But enough setting the stage. Tyler is ready to perform. What you got for this one, Ty? Caught you with your
Jesus,
mouth
that was
full
awesome.
again.
Okay. So, screw the odds makers in this one in particular. That's all I'm going to say. That being said, when I looked at why is BYU the dog in this one by 10 points, I was able to come up with 3 reasons. Texas Tech at home with Baron Morton. They are just a great home environment. BYU's got those injury concerns with both their star running back, LJ Martin, who's a game time decision, and their star linebacker, Jack Kelly, also game time decision. Kalani Sitake has said he is hopeful for both of those guys, but what coach wouldn't say that? You know what I mean? BYU is notorious for keeping the games close this year, so I think that the Vegas odds makers are really just not convinced that they are a team that can compete with a Texas Tech program who's just been playing so elite this year. So elite. Let me talk about this when it comes to the CFP implications. The winner of this game pretty much has a 75% chance of getting in no matter what happens. Well, they can't lose out, obviously, but the winner of this game has a 75% chance. So it's going to be a hard-fought battle in this one, especially when you come off of the fact that both of these teams do not have that many more challenges left in the season. In fact, you could probably argue the last challenge that either of them would have is going to be in the Big 12 championships before we go on to the playoffs and everything. Man, the Texas Tech chaos that they are coming off of, like just the clutch time performance against Kansas State last week. These guys know how to win games, and so does BYU. Hell, I mean, they punched me in the teeth twice this year for thinking that Utah was going to take it to them and thinking that Iowa State was going to take it to them. So these guys know how to win games. Bear Brockmeyer has grown a lot this year, man. As a true freshman QB, he's been consistently finding ways to put away close deficits, and Kalani Sitake knows where to line up his guys so that he's giving Bear Brockmeyer the best weapons to throw to in any given situation. All right. BYU, one of 2 FBS teams with undefeated road record and 4+ road wins this season. So, something to keep in mind right there. BYU is definitely a team that travels very well. Neither of these teams are going to have a test after this week, is something I already said. And then the last thing I got here, BYU, for the first time in their program history, this is the second year that they've gone 8-0. I mean, they're building a culture and something special at BYU. I really think you got to tip your hat to them because, you know, it's not every day that one of these highly religious programs like this really comes alive. So respect.
Yeah. I'll just add on to that, almost kind of to back up some of the things you said. But
Yeah.
BYU, they are going to, they're not going to score 40 points. So it does come down to whether or not they can get in there and get some stops against Texas Tech. One thing that I think might help them, just so on 5.5% of opponent passes, they force an interception. On 6.25% of opponent passes, they force a sack. So that's almost 12% of opponent dropbacks are going to result in a sack or an interception. If that number holds true and they can get that kind of pressure and force those kind of mistakes on Texas Tech, that will go a long way to getting them to, if not winning, at least not losing by 10, which we are picking against the spread in this case.
Yep.
The other thing, Texas Tech, they only give up 77 rushing yards per game. So that's why I was saying BYU's not going to score. They're not going to score 40 points. They're going to need, they're going to need to make it kind of dirty. But they find a way to win. And as you mentioned, they find a way to stay in games. Let's see.
Yep.
Did I have any other stats here to go through? I thought I did.
Time is money, Kevin.
Hey, you want to get to the picks?
I would love to.
Oh, I did have one stat. You
Well,
can
too
click it.
late.
BYU's not forced a missed field goal from their opponents all season. That doesn't really
Right.
translate much, but yeah. Anyhow,
Yeah, look, okay. I understand why you're taking BYU. Reverse trap, reverse negative trap on myself somehow. I think that BYU's swan song is going to come crumbling down at some point, despite everything I just said. And this is more gambling brain Tyler coming on and turning on, because I know the moment that I start betting for BYU that they're
I
going to go ahead and lose. So I
I
might as
was
well.
happy to see that red flash. I'll be
Yep.
honest.
Yep, because you see how that happens, Kev? Like, you took away Vanderbilt from me. I'm giving BYU to you. Okay, that's how we're doing this right now. But that being said, I do think, in all honesty, we could see some shock and awe here with the Texas Tech crowd. I think the key is going to be for Texas Tech to come out hot when, there might be some of that shock factor with BYU coming in there to Lubbock, understanding what a Texas home team crowd is going to sound like for this freshman QB. If Texas Tech can get, like 14 points, 17 points on the board early in the first quarter, then yeah, pack it away. It's going to be a runaway game. So it's really going to it's going to come down to how's Kalani Sitake's crew and this freshman QB going to respond to a very, very hostile environment. And I'm very excited to see how it
Yeah.
goes.
I will do for you what you just did for me.
Yes.
I think your under pick, if BYU keeps it within 10 points, I think certainly you're going to see under 52.5. So maybe you'll get at least half there.
Thank you.
Maybe you'll get them both, but yeah,
Maybe. We'll see.
very excited for this one in College Game Day too. Gotta
Oh,
love it.
playing at Connect Stadium in Iowa City at 3:30 p.m. on Saturday.
And Tyler
Big
gets to
noon
address
football.
all of his admirers, the Oregon
That's
fan base.
Yep, all of my
Right.
favorite people at the Oregon fan base. We're going back to that callback. Hey, fun fact, big noon kickoff. This is the third time that they've been to Iowa City since 2021. Isn't that good for their program? Yeah, I kind of have a feeling that Kirk Ferentz is kind of like a godfather of the college football world in this sense, and that like he's the real test for this team to show that they got the moxie to be a playoff team. Look, other than Iowa's, loss to Iowa State, which was tough, don't get me wrong, they kept it to within 7 points with the arguably best team in the country. That's what we all just need to remember. What has Oregon done on its resume?
Was that hypothetical or are you thinking?
No, that was me asking you.
I mean, you can see on these slides, I will give them more credit for that Week 5 victory at Penn State. Even if Penn State's not the team that they are, that environment was crazy, and they, they came in clutch. They showed up on the road. Their one slip up came against Indiana, and that was a game that was within reach for Oregon. They threw 2 fourth quarter interceptions.
Yep.
It's hard to win a ranked matchup, let alone any matchup that's close if you're throwing 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter. If I could keep the ball rolling here, that 2 interception thing, Dante Moore is going to have to be very careful because
Yeah.
Iowa, in their last 3 games, their defense has forced 7 interceptions, 1 pick six, and get this, 2 more interceptions were returned all the way to the 1-yard line. So they're 6 feet away from having 3 pick sixes in the last 3 games. They've also held opponents 2 for 7 on fourth downs in those games, and they had a punt return touchdown. So this, on paper, you can see why that over-under is only 40. Yeah, actually, Iowa's number 1 in the country at opponent fourth down conversion rate.
Yeah.
Opponents only convert fourth downs 15.5% of the time. Oregon has the number 1 passing yards allowed per game. They only give up 114.1 yards. I mean, why did I pick the over? Spoiler alert. Iowa
I
is number
understand.
1 in the nation in penalties per game, only 2.4 penalties per game for 23.3 yards. Um,
I
let's
was a
see.
disappointing
Oh,
team,
yeah,
man.
here's why I picked the over, because Oregon, in 4 of their 5 conference games, the totals eclipse 40.
Yeah.
And Iowa has done that in 3 of 5. So 80% of their combined games have gone over 40. I don't know why the odds makers think, oh, you put them together, it's going to keep it under. But I see we're both
Well,
on track there.
devil's advocate, and this goes against my pick up here too, Kev. But I mean, Dan Lanning runs up them scores when he's playing the poo-poo teams. Iowa, not a poo-poo team. So we'll see. But then flip side of that, I think every time Oregon has played a good opponent, like with Indiana, that game went over, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the score's right
That-
there, 30-20. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I don't remember what the over under was. I'll look back. Whatever. I have a feeling that I think it went
it
over.
was
That
because I
didn't go
picked the
over.
under, or no, that was the Penn State game. I picked the under, and then the game went into double overtime to screw me on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
There it is.
also, sorry.
Nah. You go. I mean, you're
Oh
the
yeah,
one who did all the
the
research this
one
week.
thing, and this is not the gambler in me. This is just kind of the trying to make sense of everything. Will Iowa getting that nod in the college football rankings, will that somehow go to their heads? I don't know. I feel like Oregon's coming off a bye the week before. I mean,
Right.
as you can see in the note there, they got the 21-7 victory against Wisconsin that included an onside kick sneaky attempt.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
I
and
think
Dante Moore also went out in that game when he got clocked in the face. So that's also worth noting.
that I feel bad for reading off his stat line and saying it was bad. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
think
same thing
there's
happened to me.
opportunity for Oregon to they've looked, they didn't lose to Wisconsin. They haven't lost any game except for Indiana, and that's
Right.
not a like that's not a bad loss by any stretch. So we'll just see. We'll just see if Iowa is the constant, like you said, the harbinger, the gatekeeper of the Big Ten, or if Oregon is ready for a second half surge.
Dude, Kev, I'm just so terrified that after I lost Georgia Tech and Vandy, that I'm just using Iowa as they're like batting
Stand
their
in.
eyelashes at me to be like my next storyline, and then reality's just gonna clock me over the head again. But out of principle, and because I just love these storied matchups, and you know what? Looking at the numbers, they're a gritty team. Iowa is both on the line of scrimmage when you look at the rushing production and the rushing blocking that they have, and as well as on the defensive line too. I really do think this is going to be a gritty game that's going to be played in the trenches on the ground. So let's see what happens here.
Yeah,
All right. Going to the game. That is going to be a blowout with the spread that's probably going to go higher. A&M at Missouri. Okay. I know I probably just gave it away too much there, folks, but okay. In all honesty, I was thinking about this game earlier, and I thought to myself, how is Texas A&M not a little bit close or a little bit higher on the spread with this one? And all I could really come down to in my conclusion is the Vegas odds maker have seen some of the games that they play where they keep it close against teams that they really shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm trying to remember, it was Mississippi State where it was like what? Or no, it was Arkansas where they kept it way too close. Am I one of those
yeah,
two?
you can see. Yeah, Arkansas 45-42.
Yep, there it is. Yeah,
Um,
well, and they're coming off the LSU win, which I mean, I don't know.
And Missouri is no Arkansas,
No,
Missouri, they are a
well,
good
they're
team.
not when they have Bo Prabula.
True, but Matt Zollers, and I don't know if I'm saying Matt Zollers.
I don't know. The only
I
thing
do
I have
hope I'm
written
saying it
down here
right.
is that
I,
he's a
I think
tall, lanky, guppy looking son of a bitch.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, he came through against
yeah,
Vandy. His
he
stat
did.
line 14 for 23, 138 yards and a touchdown. Only got
Yeah,
sacked once. I mean, that's about as good as you can ask for
a
someone coming in
QBR
off
of
the bench.
92.6 on that one half that he got in there. Yeah. No, it
Yeah,
was completely.
I mean, hey, here's the thing. There's going to be pressure on him, and if he can be a somewhat of a fill-in for Bo,
Bowie.
then Missouri's going to look fine in this game, and they if you look, actually, yeah, look at the notes there on the slide. Second, they had that Vandy game, but they got stuffed at the goal line on 4th and goal. They missed a field goal, and then they fumbled it to give Vandy the win.
Mhm.
So there, there's a lot. There's a lot of things that I think are going into this 6.5 point spread. The over under is the thing that I'm scratching my head against. Texas A&M scores on the road.
Yep.
Missouri scores not insane numbers at home, but like even in their
But
loss to
enough to
Alabama, they got
cover.
24 like
Right.
that.
They cover enough to get Texas A&M's other side. I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and but if we're just judging off late, both these teams are coming off a bye. The second half of Texas A&M's game against LSU, I mean, they murdered LSU's hopes and dreams and Brian Kelly's his time in Baton Rouge. It was a very
Sad.
it no, well, yeah, it was, but it was also it was a surgical performance by Texas A&M. I think they had maybe like the first 3 or 4 drives of the second half, they scored a touchdown. So like they're riding that momentum. You almost wonder if going into the bye week, they would have, they would have been better off playing a tough game last week because they had all that momentum.
Yeah.
I have some stats if I could just reel these off
Yeah.
because they're
No, go
burning a
for it.
hole in my pocket.
Eh,
Missouri is second in the country in average time of possession. They average almost 36 minutes a game. Um, Here's something. So on third down, the Texas A&M defense, they're number 1 in the country in opponents conversion. Opponents only convert 21% of the time on third down. However, Missouri is number 3 in the country in fourth down conversion rates on offense. 78.57% of the time they convert on fourth down. So Texas A&M might get some stops on third down. Think a punt's coming. I ain't hear no
maybe.
bell. Missouri comes at them. Then let's see. Last time Missouri came off a bye, they almost beat Alabama at home. The Missouri's home field advantage. There's better crowds in the SEC, but it's not nothing. I think it fires their
It's fair.
players up. That Alabama game was theirs for the taking. That was an unfortunate way for it to end.
Yeah.
Missouri hasn't lost consecutive games since November of 2022. Texas A&M, their one weakness in terms of PFF rankings is their tackling. So if Ahmad Hardy can make some men miss and bust
Oh.
open some long runs, hey, maybe we got a game. I hope we have a game.
Dude,
You know,
Ahmad
yours.
Hardy is going to be having to like come alive and have maybe 200 plus rushing yards in this game in order for them to be
Yeah.
competitive. Yeah, Kev, I got to jump in and get some points off. So they did play in 2024, these two teams, and it was an
Yeah.
A&M rout 41-10. We got to remember that. I don't know if you have that written down here anywhere. Worth noting from that game, but the leading rusher in Le'Veon Moss, who had 138 yards, and their leading receiver, Terry Busey, who had 76 yards, are both still
Don't
on
tell
the
me they're
A&M
back.
program.
Oh, they're back. Oh.
Yep, both of them. And Moss is actually currently tied with Marcel Reed for the most touchdowns in 6 on the team. All right. And you know what's even crazier is both of those two guys that I just mentioned aren't even their leading participators for both rushing and passing on the season. You got Reuben Owens leading with 440 yards and Mario Craver leading receiver with 710 yards. That being said, I just want to Marcel Reed is a mobile quarterback who can escape whatever the defensive scheme is that's going to come from Missouri, in my opinion. And he also has a lot of people to throw to and hand the ball off to. They're kind of like Alabama in that sense, where they just have a deep, deep roster that's got a lot of reliable players. Talking about Texas A&M on the road, they're 3-0 and straight up on the road, and they have averaged 45 points per game. That being said, Zollers has had an extra week to prep. But, and Kev, before I get to the but, do you want to do your pick?
Yeah. Hey, you can see my confidence. Wow, Tyler's confidence is a 2, but his icon confidence is a 5. So
Kevin, we gotta narrow down how much shit I gotta type in when yeah, beep or whatever. I spent easily a
oh,
half hour
hold
just
on.
changing a line.
No
Thank you.
language, please.
I spent a half hour when you sent these slides over just changing up lines and stuff and trying to
It's
get
a
the
tough
right
week.
thing. It's a lot, man. I don't know. But
That's
okay,
okay.
Kev, I'll give it back to you on everything I just said. Zollers could have a month to prepare, and as a true freshman QB making his first start against a tough number 3 ranked Texas A&M, excuse me, Cassius Howell is going to be the it factor. He is going to make Zollers' life miserable on this coming Saturday. And I believe A&M could take this away by 2 scores easy.
Hey, I mean, it's not that I disagree with you. I've said some stats there that make me, you know, cope with it. This is me betting with a little bit of my heart here. Just
Mm.
I'd like to see a close game. Yeah, I'd like to see this Missouri team bounce back from the Vanderbilt loss. This is going to be unrelated to the game, but you see there in Texas A&M's remaining games. In 2 weeks they play Samford. What is with SEC teams getting to schedule an absolute cupcake? It on that same week.
This deep in the schedule. Yeah, I
That
don't get it.
same week that Texas A&M plays Samford, Alabama plays Eastern Illinois, Georgia plays Charlotte, Auburn plays Mercer, LSU plays Western Kentucky. I mean,
I
what's going on?
I
Ole
don't
Miss
get
is
it.
playing
No.
Citadel this week. It's like you can't be you can't be given the Big Ten all this crap for not having a deep league when
When you're pulling that shit.
instead of you gotta stop that, man. You gotta
It's
wash
only
that
the
mouth down.
okay.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. That's something that's always kind of gave me pause. Hey, it's probably great for player morale to just go in and beat a team by 55, 60, like get to rest at halftime, but
This
it's
is
just
why
not ball.
I keep
It's not the game I grew up on.
this is why I keep saying, and it's never gonna happen, but a perfect world for college football would be relegation like they do in European soccer. But nobody wants to listen to Tyler on that one.
Or you do it where how the UFC does rankings, like if say Missouri beats Texas A&M, they would be the number 3 team in the country next week.
Mm. They can
Kind of like
shut up showcase like fights like
true.
the football matches are just like a showcase thing. we just
Hey, we
we
got a
just have
big UFC card next weekend.
do we?
Not this
Okay,
weekend, but
yeah,
next weekend. So
I was just
I'll
gonna
be
say
bringing the
that.
heat for that. Maybe we'll get Tyler to do some blind picks on those UFC fights next
I'm
week.
down. I can't do any worse than I'm doing with my college football picks. Oh yeah, one last thing, Kev. If you're an A&M fan, are you looking ahead to Thanksgiving and sweating right now?
You gotta be.
You gotta be
But this
big
is
time.
not. I don't think this is a game that their fans or teams overlooking. I think maybe South Carolina next week could
No,
be
yeah,
one
no, and
that they're
I
looking.
I was thinking that too. It's not at the point where it's going to be a look ahead because you still like you said you got South Carolina and Samford in between them. It could be a look ahead, but yeah, no, it's I don't see this being the fault obviously with my pick. All right,
Yep.
are you good?
I'm good.
You're great. I'm great too, Kev. Okay. On to the next thing. Yeah, look, matchups and picks. I think these are all right, Kev. Check me.
Yep. Um. Yeah. I almost bid on the over for that Texas A&M Missouri game, but um,
Add it to my card. Screw it. Add it to my card. I'm
we
gonna
won't
add
remember this.
that over, and I'm missing actually the under in the Texas Tech game. Yeah, add it. I want all 8 picks and then my parlay this week.
Okay.
Okay.
Why hath Jared forsaken us last week? We do
Okay.
not
I have a
ask
quote.
questions.
I have a quote.
Sometimes Jared tests us. He tests our faith. And
Mm,
last week was one of those instances. His very first incorrect pick. Am I right?
I have a quote.
Yes.
I let hubris get the best of me, but on my sacred honor as the oracle of the sport, it shall not happen again.
That's class right there.
That is class.
What's the difference between class and
Yeah, and I also forgot to put his pick in here, so I'm gonna read it out loud.
That's no class.
Yeah, that's a no class move. What do you got with you got 4 picks on your parlay this week?
I went for it, and I did some alt totals in there because I've been not great on the alt spreads. With that said, Colorado, West Virginia, alt total over 50. Colorado's defense gets slashed. West Virginia's offense coming alive as of late, but their defense also gets slashed. Iowa State, alt spread on the road versus TCU. And TCU, I believe, is a 6-2 team, kind of Johnny be good lately, but I don't think they're beating Iowa State by double digits. Stanford at UNC. UNC's kind of coming into their own. This one was kind of, I mean, you can see over 33.5, minus 300. If that's wrong, I might delete the YouTube channel. And then last, Navy at Notre Dame. I got that alt total going under 62.5. Navy they hold the ball a lot. So there just might not be enough opportunities for Notre Dame to score like 35, 42 points in this game. So that brings you to 328. Now we got a bonus UFC pick. Again, I believe I'm 4-1 on those. Maybe I'm 3-2. You'll have to audit me. Randy Rude Boy Brown. He's going to defeat Gabriel Bonfim. Gabriel Bonfim, he got a robbery decision win against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in their last fight. Randy Rude Boy Brown went in. I think he got a finish last fight. The fight before, he had to fight somebody, Brian Battle, who was 7 pounds overweight, and he got robbed in that one. So, hey, give me him to win in that co-main event. That'd bring your total parlay to 987.
I'm making this face because my bonus pick there is for a game that is currently ongoing. Philadelphia 76ers will cover in a game that started an hour ago, plus 11.5. Hold on one second, Kev.
Do you want me to check it for you?
No, I want to hear.
Oh. Oh, wait. Ooh. What's is that a final or is that still going?
No, that's there's 2 minutes and 47 seconds left. Okay.
Well, okay, they just need to score twice, but that's why you don't do bonuses, and nobody would have had a chance to ride with with that anyway. So,
you got to change up. Okay, if it's broke, fix it. You know. That being said, Indiana minus 14.5 at Penn State. I don't think they're going to be able to get anything going against them, especially when you saw what Ohio State was able to do. I think that at the end of the day, sure, Penn State's going to try at the beginning, and maybe the first half will look a little dicey, but they just will get tuckered out. That'll be the same thing as last weekend, in my opinion. Miami alternate spread minus 24.5 versus Syracuse. I think Syracuse is the perfect get right opponent for Miami, and Mario Cristobal is going to show why he still deserves some semblance of a paycheck. And then, West Virginia, money line versus Colorado. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Colorado has not impressed me this year, and West Virginia came alive and surprised last week. I forget who they were playing, but I remember
beat Houston, I think 34-24.
Thank you. Yes, that's what it was. That was an upset victory for them. That was a big one.
Right.
So, if you want to take my already failed pick, along with my parlay, that gets you to plus 702. But my football parlay, which I'm also going to bet that one, is going to be plus 324. All right.
Hey, Tyler, dude, as we speak, Philadelphia 115, 128.
Okay,
come
Kev,
on. Hey, why don't you read Jared's? You got to read Jared's pick. I'll keep watching
slowly.
This.
I'm going to read this so slowly. Okay. All right. I am checking right now. Jared.
I'll just hold this up for folks so they can see while you read.
Is it going to automatically update though, Kev?
I think so. Just what's Jared's pick?
Jared's pick is, and I have to look at the picture, J.K. Dobbins rushing yards over. Where is it? Oh, over 71.5 when the Raiders come into Denver this Thursday.
Over 70 what?
1.5.
Okay. I like that.
All right. Hold on. All right. It hasn't changed at all.
Is this
There was a personal foul. There was a timeout. Defensive rebound. He missed the shot.
Oh, score. Huh. Wow. Wow. All right. They should just end the game right there.
Yeah, I think that's good. It would be really cool if I could watch this.
Hey, I mean, should we just another. They scored again, dude. Should we just let this? I mean,
Yeah, no, let it go. We got how much time left? People can see my honest reaction. I am a Philadelphia fan. Okay, 119 to 130. I still got
okay,
the
they
0.5.
scored.
Come on. Just run the clock out, please. 121 to 130, Kev. Ah, crap.
I
Come
mean,
on.
that's gotta do it for you, right?
It's hold up. 106 left in the fourth.
Less than that.
106. Yeah, what? What are you talking about? No, it's at 106.
Oh, sorry. It's backwards for me.
So what? You thought it was at 60 minutes and 1 second?
No, I don't have my glasses on.
I didn't know you wear glasses, Kev.
Just
There's
to-
a personal foul on Andre Drummond. We might have dead air, Kev. I don't want to keep everybody.
All
This
right.
is-
Hey, I
yeah.
think he's got it. I think he probably has
Pray
it.
for
But
me,
hey,
people. By the time this is uploaded, you'll know if I'm a sad boy or a happy boy or not. Okay. All right, Kev. Anything to wrap it up with?
no, thank you all. Tyler, thanks for bringing the energy. I know you're tired today. So
Kev, what's your excitement level 1 to 10 for this weekend?
right now, in this very moment, 5.
6.
All right.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining in. Like, subscribe, comment what you guys want to see in the future. Can't wait to see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.